This is a presentation video on the paper Accountability in Algorithmic Decision Making by Nicholas Diakopoulos, presented by Baibhav, Department of Computer Science, Lamar University. Automated writing articles is the source of thousands of corporate articles. For example, there are companies like Automated Insights, which produces articles for the AP and narrative sciences that are so clean and well structured that it is difficult to distinguish the machine-produced articles from the human-written ones. The articles are not cardboard either. They have variability in tone and style, making it very close to human articles. Influence of automated articles. Algorithmic curation of content is behind some of the most influential news dissemination platforms that virtually all of us use. As a matter of fact, these automated articles are used by a number of popular online media. For example, Facebook. Many of us don't even realize that Facebook's news feed is actually algorithmically curated. The recent study found that Facebook is a source of news and government politics for 61% of the millennials. So algorithmically curated articles have a major impact on the inside of a person. The role of computer science and engineering professionals. Computer science and engineering professionals have a major role to play in shaping the algorithms. The human influences in algorithms are many. Criteria choices, optimization functions, training data, and the semantics of categories, just to name a few. Algorithmic decision making. There are many types of decisions that needs to be made while making an algorithm. Prioritizing, classification, association, and filtering are some of them. Let's get in detail to each and one of the decision making processes. Prioritizing. Prioritizing is something we can do on a daily basis to cope with the information onslaught. Algorithms prioritize information in a way that emphasizes or brings attention to certain things at the expense of others. As a result, there are many ramifications to individuals or other entities that should be considered during designs. The criteria used in a ranking, how they are defined, and data field are the weighting and the essential design decisions that deserve careful consideration and scrutiny. Classification. Classification decisions marks a particular entity as belonging to a given class by considering key characteristics of that entity. The opportunities for bias, uncertainty, or outright mistakes are plentiful in automated classification. In developing classification algorithms, designer must also consider the accuracy of the classifications, the false positives and the false negatives, and the consequences to the stakeholders of either of those types of errors. Association. Association decisions revolve around creating relationship between entities. Associations lead to connotations in their human interpretations. For example, when a man in Germany searched for his name on Google and autocomplete suggestion connected him to Scientology and fraud, this was both meaningful and unsettling to the man, leading to a defamation of lawsuit that he ultimately won. Collaborative filtering is a popular class of algorithm that defines an association neighborhood around an entity and uses those close ties to suggest or recommend other items. Filtering decisions. Filtering decisions involve including or excluding information according to various rules or criteria. Since there is practically always some troll or miscreant willing to soil the sandbox, moderation and filtering are crucial elements when publishing social media. Online comments are sometimes filtered algorithmically to determine whether or not they are antisocial or therefore unworthy of public consumption. Transparency. Transparency can be a mechanism that facilitates accountability. Transparency and accountability is a bit different for the government than that of a private sector. Corporations often limit their transparency out of fear of losing a competitive advantage from a trade secret or exposing the system to gaming and manipulation. Complete source code and transparency of algorithms, however, is an overkill in many of the cases. Instead, the disclosure of certain key pieces of information, including aggregate results and benchmark, would be far more effective in communicating algorithmic performance to the public. For government, the Freedom of Information Act (FOIA) and similar laws in the US and many other jurisdictions compel disclosure of government records and data when requested, though there are of course exceptions, such as when a government integrates a third-party system protected by trade secrets. Human involvement. At a high level, transparency around human involvement might involve explaining the goal, purpose, and intent of the algorithm, including editorial goals and the human editorial process or social context crucible from which the algorithms was cast. For example, the questions might arise like, who at a company has direct control over the algorithm? Who has oversight and is accountable? Data. One avenue for transparency here is to communicate the quality of data, including its accuracy, completeness, and uncertainty, as well as its timeliness, representativeness of a sample for a specific population, and assumptions or other limitations. The model itself, as well as the modeling process, could also be made transparent to some extent. Of high importance is knowing what the model actually uses as input, what features or variables are used in the algorithms. Often those features are weighted. What are those weights? Challenges. The main challenge moving forward is to determine appropriate mechanisms for disclosure that are beneficial but do not kill usability. Additionally, some users may simply not care, while others are deeply interested, raising the design challenge of accommodating the needs of many public while not polluting the user experience with surfeit of information for the uninterested. There are technical challenges involved too. In particular, concerns often arises over manipulation and gaming that may be enabled by disclosing information about how system works. A certain amount of threat modeling may be necessary if transparency is required. So to conclude the presentation, the paper talks about how the algorithms are shaping and have become a major aspect to the world today. Since software developers and designers use algorithms to develop everything from news articles to feeds, people are basically heavily influenced by the way algorithms are written. Designers must therefore be ethical in their approach towards writing algorithms so that it is not biased to a certain entity. Designers must also keep in mind that the level of transparency they provide to the user. While being more transparent can be beneficial to some extent, too much gives a threat of manipulation. Thank you.